All right, so I just got these animals, the grain, and okay, so but that's the most because if I just tell you the reality, then I've always said that it just is what it is, right? It doesn't matter. It's not my opinion. It just is what it is, okay? And I got a lot of wind, and it actually rained. It wasn't really a lot of a chance of it raining this morning, but it ended up raining. But here is the reality. All right, here is it. It is what it is. Reality is not an opinion. It doesn't matter. It just is what it is, okay? And so as of right now, I'm liquidating about 7 or 8 animals a month, and my preconditioning pens can really only hold 7. And so I'm liquidating about 7 or 8 animals a month, and and I've got this whole thing. I've got this whole thing worked out where I'm looking to effectively just take these animals, a majority of these animals, over to the lease property, and then utilize this area as a large preconditioning pen. And I got a lot of wind out here, but it just is what it is, okay? I liquidate about 7 or 8 animals a month, and that's my reality situation. If I liquidate 8 animals, I will effectively make enough money to buy about 14 or 15. And as of today, when I run my business, even when I grow my business, I legitimately buy everything that I need. I pay for everything. I legitimately, I even managed to grow my business. I still have about $4,000 a month left over. That's after I've done everything. I've grown my business. I've bought everything that I needed. But I legitimately grew my business. I didn't just run my business sideways. I legitimately grew my business. I bought everything that I needed. And even after that, I still have about $4,000 a month left over. And if you don't understand money, think about it in terms of cattle. I liquidate 8 animals and I make enough money to buy 15. So I go to the sell barn and I buy, whatever, right? I buy 15. I make enough money to buy 15. But in reality, I take a look at my situation and I say, well, my preconditioning pens can only hold a set number of animals, right, etc., right? Maybe my preconditioning, but let's just say I go to the sell barn and I buy all 15, right? Then guess what? I'm net positive 7 animals, and let's say 2 or 3 of them end up dying. Then I'm still net positive 4 or 5 animals, right? That's another way to look at it. But when I take a look at my reality situation, when I just take a look at it for what it is, I've always said that money is not complicated, okay? Money is not complicated. If you're having difficulties understanding money, that is very not good. All right, money is not complicated. Like when you look at your bank account, right? And this is it just is what it is. All right, it just is what. But this is a very, I'm just gonna tell you, it is what it is. All right, this is reality. It doesn't matter. This is not my opinion. It just is what it is. I'm telling you the truth. And that's what it looks like. I grow my business. I do better for myself. I legitimately grow my business. I buy everything that I need. I'll buy fertilizer, I'll buy grain, I've even bought more cattle. I'll legitimately do all of that, and I still have about $4,000 a month left over, and that number is going up pretty drastically. And here is why I purchased the option contract yesterday. In terms of the bigger, broader idea, and here's just one way to look at it. I would say that within about 2 weeks, I actually liquidate another 4 animals. I'm about to liquidate about another 3 or 4 animals. And when I liquidate these 3 or 4 animals, they're effectively going to hit the scale at about 650, body conditioning score 6. I would anticipate that when I liquidate these 4 animals, I actually make enough money to buy 14. Or excuse me, I make enough money to buy 7. And 7 is the number of animals that I can hold in my preconditioning pen. So when I liquidate these 4 animals, I will make enough money to fill up my preconditioning pens. I will be liquidating 4 and I will be buying 7. And I came home with $2,500 cash last week. All right, I came home with $2,500 cash. I take a look. Oh, and I also wanted to go over something. And so I'm looking at my situation and I'm saying, you know what? There really is not any more. There is no reason for me to hold on to more cash. I'm already net positive about it. I'm already net positive about 25, 35 grand. There is no reason for me to start holding on to more cash, right? If I start holding on to more cash, I will legitimately end the year in a situation where I am holding on to like over 100 grand. And if I'm holding on to over 100 grand, I'm going to get taxed the worst. All right, I'm gonna get taxed a lot. There are gonna be a lot of taxes. And and so I might as well just risk it. All right, I might as well just go and purchase myself a tax deductible asset, and I might as well risk it because I'm gonna lose the money anyway if I don't. Very simple, right? Very simple. And this is something that is not just me. Anybody, if you're in America, you can do this too. It's not just me. All right, if you go and you purchase yourself a tax deductible asset, congratulations. Income taxes, federal income taxes are now gone. Ask your accountant about it. All right, that's how it works. That's the whole system. It's not just me. Everybody has access to the same opportunity. If you legitimately felt like, oh man, I want to go and buy myself 150 cattle a year, I want to go and buy myself 200 cattle a year, and I want to write off my taxes and be a multi-millionaire. If you wanted to do that, you could do it too. Anybody could. It's not just me. All right, it's not just me. And so, everybody has access to the same opportunities. All right, it's not just me. And so that's my situation. I'm going to lose the money anyway. If I sit here and I hold on to cash, I'm going to lose the money anyway. I might as well purchase a tax deductible asset. And so why did I go and purchase a $1,000 option contract in Pepsi-Cola? Why did I do that? Because I'm taking a look at my overall situation. I'm already sitting on 25, 35 grand. There's no reason for me to hold on to any more cash than 25, 35 grand. It's not going to do anything. Why would I do that? It's not going to do anything. Right? I'm taking a look at my situation, and I can already tell I am generating massive excesses. I don't even know how much. It's a lot. I don't even know how much I make. I don't know how much I make. I know it's a lot. I know that I'm definitely in the net positive. I don't care about how much it costs because I make a lot of money doing it. It doesn't matter to me. That's how much it costs. I don't worry about the money. That's how much it costs. I'm just going to be honest about it, because, imagine that you're in a situation where when you put $10 into something, you get $17 back. Are you going to care that it cost you $10 to make your $17? You're not going to care, right? Same thing with me. Why would I care? Why would I care about what it costs? If I put $10 into it and I get $17 back, why would I care about the $10 I don't? You wouldn't either. I hope not. Right, and this is the big idea when I demonstrate the idea of assets, right? The price of the asset does not matter. I talk about this all the time. The price of the asset does not matter. What matters more is that you have a reasonable appraisal value for your asset. You understand your asset. You have a reasonable appraisal value for it, and then you have an idea of why it would appreciate. That's more important. The price of the asset is always negligible. Let's say you're taking a look at a piece of real estate. How do you get a reasonable appraisal value for a piece of real estate? Right, you take your deal to the bank and they will send somebody out there for you and they will appraise it for you, and then they will tell you what your property is worth, or whatever your deal is worth. They will tell you, the bank will tell you. That's how you get a reasonable appraisal value for real estate. How do you determine what the value of an animal is, of what cattle are? Granted that you have an idea of what a 1 to 1.5 type medium large frame animal is, right? Granted that you understand what a beef animal is. How do you appraise the asset? How do you get a reasonable idea of what your animal is worth? You go on the stock market and you look up feeder cattle price. It's right there. It's a global commodity. Congratulations. It's right there. It will tell you. That's how you appraise your asset. You don't ask Billy Joe Bob. You don't come up with some ridiculous thing by yourself. All right, you knowledgeably appraise your asset. When you're looking at a business, how do you knowledgeably appraise a business? You take a look at how much money it makes and then you multiply it by something that you believe is reasonable. Right? Like if you're looking at a business that is doing very well and it's projected to do better in the future, the multiple of that business is going to be higher. Makes a lot of sense, right? And think about it in terms of a common sense idea. If you have a business that makes a lot of money, that business is going to be worth more than a business that makes less money. Makes a lot of sense, right? If you have a business that is going to do better, that you've taken a look at the business and you've taken a look at the guy or the girl, whatever, whatever. You've taken a look at the person who's running the business, and the person who's running the business has a very reasonable idea for how they are going to make the business do better, and the business has actually been doing better for several years. Then that business is going to be worth more. Makes a lot of sense, right? It makes a lot of sense. It's very simple. Money is not complicated. Money is easier than basic math. Money is easier than basic math. Our money is not complicated, and it makes a lot of sense, right? If you have a business that looks like it's going to do better and it's been doing better every single year, you've taken a look at the person who's running the thing, and that person has a very reasonable idea for how they're going to do better in the future. And even in a best case scenario, you've actually managed to find something where you're like, this guy's legitimately about to take this thing vertical, and he's legitimately about to take this thing vertical, and his company is selling for whatever, 15 times earnings today, and he's about to take this thing vertical. That's when you have a situation like Warren Buffett and Geico, right? Warren Buffett invested in Geico. He was taking a look at the company. He was like, this company is about to, I reasonably anticipate that this company is about to go vertical, and I can actually purchase it at a reasonable price. And that's how Warren Buffett and Geico happened, right? That's effectively how you invest in businesses. All businesses are the exact same. When you have a business, the evaluation of the business is a multiple of the earnings. It's very simple. It's not difficult. It's very easy. You take a look at how much money that business makes, and then you multiply it. That's it. Legitimately, that is it. And I've been saying this for I don't even know how long. All right, and if the business looks like it's going to do better, if the person who's running the thing is very solid, and they have a very reasonable idea for how they're going to do better for themselves, then that business is worth even more. All right, the multiple goes higher. All right, so when I take a look at my financials, the most reasonable way for me to just, because at the end of the day, it's just honesty. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm just going to be honest about it. When I take a look at my situation, even after I've paid for everything, I legitimately grow my business. I run my pens at maximum capacity. I grow my business. I buy everything that I need. I still have about $4,000 a month left over. That's reality. It just is what it is. That's another way to look at it. And one way to look at it is when I liquidate 8 animals, I make enough money to buy about 15. And my profits are, and the amount of money that I'm making is actually going up vertically. I don't know how else to, and I'm not bragging about it. I'm just saying that it is what it is. When I've taken a look at the information, and the amount of money that I'm making is going to go up vertically. I've actually hit a point in my situation where, I've actually hit a point in my financial situation where I'm actually past a point of inflection. And as of right this moment, and $50,000 a month, a year is what I have left over after I've grown my business and I've paid for everything that I need. I still have about $50,000 a year left over, and I'm actually growing my business at about 5 to 10% compounding every single month. I'm actually growing my business. I still have money left over. And so, so I went ahead and I purchased a $1,000, option contract on Pepsi-Cola 2 days ago. And the reason that I did that was because I don't want to be sitting around. I've already got plenty of, I already have, I would say that I have, 35,000. I don't need any more cash. If I legitimately sit around and I don't invest the money, I will legitimately end up in a situation where I have over 100,000 cash in the next year, within the next 9 months. All right, and why would I do that? I'm gonna get taxed a lot. All right, that's what happens. Cash is the hardest taxed. If you're holding on to cash at the end of the year, you're going to get taxed. If you live in America and you're holding on to cash at the end of the year, you're going to get taxed. You're going to get taxed the worst out of everybody. The worst out of everybody. That money is going to get taxed the hardest. If you are holding on to tax deductible assets, and you take all of your money and you invest it into those tax deductible assets, your taxes go to zero. My taxes go to zero. Everybody's taxes go to zero. Granted that you do that. Yeah, everybody has access to the exact same situation. All right, it's not just me. If you purchase tax deductible assets, it reduces your income tax burden, your income tax burdens. That's what it does, okay? Everybody has access to the exact same situation as me. It's not just me. But and also you need to understand that my situation is like, when you take a look at me and you take a look at it for what it is, it's like, I'll be running about 150 to 200 cattle a year by myself. That's the trade-off. If you legitimately think it's unfair, go and do the work and see how unfair it is. Have fun. All right, running cattle is not easy. All right, that's what I needed to run 150 to 200 cattle a year by myself to be able to do this. And if you want to go and do it, nobody's stopping you. Have fun. All right, have fun. It's have fun, okay? I don't, knock yourself out. I'm not saying slam your head on a table. Have fun, okay? I mean, see if it turns out unfair for you. It's very difficult, and there's a lot of risk. All right, it's not easy. All right, running cattle is not some Disneyland adventure. I don't know how, running a business is, whatever. I mean, it's all not a Disneyland adventure. All right, oh my guys, right? I don't, trust me. I don't care. All right, and I talk about this. At the end of the day, why would I care? I'm the one who makes the money. I'm the one with the money. I make a boatload of money. I don't even know how much money I make. I don't. I make a lot. All right, and I make a lot. I don't even know. All right, and if you're having difficulty understanding money, think about it in terms of cattle. All right, but that's my legitimate situation. Even when I grow my business and I buy everything that I need, and I do all of this, I still end up with about $4,000 a month cash. And it's actually going up vertically. And when I take a look at my overall situation, I mean, maybe I make about $200,000 to $250,000, somewhere around 200 grand, 150, 200 grand on a 10.5 acre field running commercial cattle. That's how much money I make. It's not an opinion. Nobody cares about an opinion. It just is what it is. That's how much money I make. All right, it's a statement of a fact. All right, and the amount of money that I'm making is actually compounding upwards. I'm actually doing better for myself every single month. And another way to look at my financials is I am legitimately growing my business. I am buying everything that I need, and I still have about $4,000 a month left over after I've done all of that. And the amount of money that I'm making is actually going upwards. That's my financial situation. That's what you're looking at. All right, and I've always said that at the end of the day, the results are the results. All right, if you're poor and you're delusional and you're lying to yourself, then that's not good. All right, and especially if you're running the wrong way, like if you're in a situation where you're looking at it and you still run the wrong way, that's very bad. When you take a look at when you take a look at this, you have to understand that I effectively do better than, drastically better than 99.99999% of the entire country. All right, that's what you're looking at. You should not be running off in the wrong direction completely. If you're going 180 degrees in the wrong direction, you're probably going to die poor. It would be a miracle if you turned around. A miracle. I do drastically, in terms of a financial sense, I do drastically better than 99.99999% of the entire country. All right, you should not. You're not so dumb that you can't understand what. You're not so dumb. It's not possible. If you're going 180 degrees in the wrong direction, it's not because you're dumb. It's because you're an idiot. And and you're probably gonna die as an idiot. I mean, I don't know how else to. I don't know what to do. How do I? Whatever, right? I mean, I wish the best for all of you. All right, I do. And I hope that all of you do very well for yourselves, and whatever. And I do. I hope that you do well for yourself. I managed to make it. I did not steal an opportunity from anybody. If you legitimately want to know what it's like to do this, then go and buy yourself 150 to 200 cattle a year and have fun. See how it turns out for you. All right, no, we're not 100. I messed up the numbers. Right now maybe I run maybe right now I buy about 90 cattle a year. I buy about 120 cattle a year as of right now, and I'm about to double that. I'm not really going to even double that because, the lease property doesn't have access to city water. And, and in the summer, the ponds are going to dry up and I can only really grow grass about 8 months out of the year. And so, maybe I go to about 150, 200 cattle. Right now, I'm sitting on about 100 cattle a year, and I'm going to go up to about 150 to 200. And if you want to know what that's like, then go and do it. Nobody's stopping you. All right, have fun. Let's see it. All right, you're probably not even going to do 10%. All right, I was talking about this earlier today. I was talking about this a little while ago when I was sitting in the grain bin. But let's not use me in my situation let's come up with a story, a fictional story based on a non-fictional man named Farmer Howard. And so Farmer Howard has, and this is what I was talking about. Farmer Howard has $0, but he understands that deep down he is a very capable farmer, maybe one of the best in the world, a world-class cattleman. And so, in a world-class grass grower, world-class cattleman. And so he takes a look at his situation and he says, you know what, I have $0 right now, but I'm going to go and I'm going to do better for myself, right? That's always the most important thing. You really want to be in a situation where you are thinking about doing better for yourself. I mean, choose something. I mean, go and read a book about antibiotics. Go and read a book about cattle diet. Go and buy yourself beef animals, and come up with a reasonable plan. Oh, well, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to improve this and improve that, and that's always the biggest part. I've always said that progress is more. Progress in the right direction is more important than results. If you legitimately just want the results, you're not going to get them. I don't know how, that's like waking up one day and just deciding that you want to play basketball like LeBron James. Nobody cares that you want to play basketball like LeBron James. All right, have fun dying an idiot. Nobody cares. I mean, you either work for it or you don't. All right, that's all there is to it, and you're not so dumb that you cannot learn how to do these things. I guarantee it, if you have even average IQ, if you're 100 IQ, you could effectively learn how to do all of this. You might even be able to do better than me. All right, there's a very real possibility of that. All right, but chances are you're not even going to do 10%. All right, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It's not even just cattle. It's whatever, right? I mean, whatever. I mean, it's whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter what we're talking about. And we can use money as a gauge. Because at the end of the day, I do very well for myself, and I didn't sell my soul to the devil to do it, right? I didn't do that. I run beef cattle, right? I didn't sell my soul to the devil to make money. I run beef cattle, and I do very well for myself. I effectively do drastically better than 99.99999% of the entire country. Drastically better. And this is a very realistic opportunity for you to see it. Because you probably have not seen this before ever in anything like this, even relatively close in your entire life. You probably have not seen it. So this is an interesting chance to get a new perspective, right? A perspective that's like, me, I'm not a saint. At the end of the day, I'm not a saint, and I'm also not poor. I do very well for myself financially, and I didn't sell my soul to the devil to do it. I run beef cattle. And I make a lot of money. I make a lot of money, and the amount of money that I'm making is actually going up every month on a vertical scale. All right, the whole story about Farmer Howard, right? Farmer Howard has $0, but he has a real, but in all honesty, Farmer Howard is a very capable individual, and he is a world-class farmer. And he decides, you know what, I'm going to go and get myself some money. So Farmer Howard goes to the bank and takes a loan for $7,000, and he finds a lease property, and the lease property owner is saying that, that he's having a difficulty with the city with his agricultural exemptions. And so he needs somebody on the field, farming the field, that will get him his agricultural exemptions. And so Farmer Howard agrees to the deal and says, you know what, I will talk to the city for you, and I will farm your field, and I will get you your agricultural exemptions. So they shake on it, they make a contract, and then Farmer Howard now has a piece of land that he can farm, and he has a loan for $7,000 from the bank. He goes to the bank, or he goes to the sale barn, and he purchases one animal every month. So by the end of month number 6, he has 6 animals, and the animal that he bought on month number 1 is ready for market, and he liquidates that animal and makes enough money to buy 2. So by the end of the year, he has 12 animals, and he takes a look at his 12 animals, and he has reasonably deduced that these 12 animals have an equity evaluation of roughly 18 animals, according to his business plan, at purchasing animals at 200 pounds and liquidating at 750 after 6 months. Right, and so he pays the bank back the 6 animals. Now Farmer Howard has 0 leverage. He does not owe the bank anything, and he has 12 animals. All right, he has 12 animals, and he does not owe the bank anything. All right, continue that forward, and then that's how you end up with my situation, more or less. Did I start with nothing? I started with 10 grand. More or less. And then think about it in terms of now I'm liquidating 7 animals every month. And I actually wanted to talk about this. I've actually decided that I'm not going to leverage my whole balance sheet 1-for-1. And the reason that I'm not going to leverage my whole herd 1-for-1, not my balance sheet but the whole herd, the reason I'm not going to do that was because 2 months ago I actually had a relatively, it's actually been 3 months now. I think it's been 3 months. I had a relatively severe outbreak of BRD. And I realized that, and I actually had to stop producing any sort of income for about a month and a half to get that solved. I legitimately, I had a relatively severe outbreak of BRD. And I was actually leveraged 1-for-1 against my entire herd. And when that happened, I actually had to stop producing myself a profit for about, I actually had to stop producing money completely for about a month and a half to figure out the problem, to generate enough money to effectively get my balance sheet back to 0. And that was not, and when I take a look back at the situation in terms of a business plan, in terms of objective improvement, that was not a good idea. Leveraging my entire balance sheet 1-for-1 is good when everything is, when everything is going relatively okay, not even good, but relatively okay. But the moment something like I have a relatively severe outbreak of BRD, and I lose 5, 6, 7, whatever. I didn't lose 5, 6, 7. I think I lost 3 or 4 or something. But the animals, I think I lost 3 or 4, or may have been 5. But I effectively had to stop running. I effectively had to stop selling animals for about a month and a half. And so I was like, I don't really want to leverage my entire herd 1-for-1. I actually stopped taking leverage entirely about a month ago. I just completely stopped taking leverage. And so, but even as of right now, but what, am I gonna be with 0 leverage forever? No, I'm not. And I'm gonna figure out a new situation for how much leverage am I looking to take, and I'm gonna figure that out. But leveraging my entire herd 1-for-1 was, it went well until it didn't. And when it didn't, it wasn't like horrible, but it was also not exactly a good situation. And so I'm adjusting that. I'm improving that situation, right? I'm gonna adjust that. And maybe I leverage half, maybe I leverage half of my herd, right? I'll figure it out. But that was kind of not good. When I was leveraged 1-for-1, and then I had a relatively severe outbreak of BRD, and I had to raise the I took a look at my balance sheet, and I took a look at the appraisal value of my herd, and I took a look at all that, and then I decided that, well, I need to raise the average weight of my herd from I need to raise the market weight from 550 to 650 so that I can break even. I stopped liquidating animals for 1.5 months, and then I ended up liquidating at about 700, 7 and a quarter, 750. But eventually, and I got myself back in the positive, but it effectively ate away 1 month of profit. And I don't really want to be in a situation where I'm sitting around for an entire month not making any money on my business. And so I'm gonna take a look at that situation, and I'm gonna improve that in terms of the business plan. And so that was something that happened that I believe that I could objectively improve in terms of my business plan. I could leveraging 1-for-1, it's fantastic until it's not. And it's not like it was horrible. It was just kind of a wonky situation, and I'm glad that it happened. I learned a lot from it, and et cetera, et cetera. But that's what it looks like. That's reality, right? That's reality. My whole reality situation is that I don't even know how, like if we're talking about money, I mean, are we talking about how much cash? Like if I legitimately was like, oh my god, if I don't have cash, then I don't have money. Right? I'm just a complete idiot. Right? If I don't have cash, I don't have money. That's me. That's me. Now I'm a poor person too, right? I'm a poor person too, and now I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna do that too, right? So let's take a look at the situation. In that situation, how much cash would I have at the end of the year? I mean, maybe about $250,000, maybe, maybe about 200 grand. Am I gonna do that? No, I'm not gonna do that. Why would I do that? That's a horrible idea. Right, and here's, if anybody, I mean, me, you, anybody, granted that in certain states you pay more taxes. Here in Texas, if I made $250,000, I would effectively have to write the government a check for 70 grand. I would have to write the government a check for 70 grand, something like that. So I'm gonna lose. I'm guaranteed to lose money, no matter what. If I'm holding on to cash, this is why I've been saying, if you're holding on to cash, you are guaranteed to lose money. Guaranteed. Cash is not a safe investment. Cash is not a good investment. All right, after about 25, 35 grand, there is legitimately zero. That's what I've deduced. After about 25, 35 grand, there is zero reason for me to hold on to more cash. Zero good reason. Why would I hold on to more cash? What am I going to do? Am I going to look at it? What's that going to do? It's not going to do anything. All right, it's not going to do anything. I'd rather invest it, and if I invested in, whatever, right? I've even bought an option contract on Pepsi. All right, I'd rather invest it. Granted that I don't want to be broke, right? I mean, I should make sure that I have some money, but I mean, after about 25, 35 grand, it's not a reasonable thing to do for me to hold on to more cash. And so I went and got myself a lease property, and I'm gonna take a majority of these animals over to that lease property, and I'm actually gonna be increasing the market target weight from 650 to 800 because I'm getting in the backgrounding business, and as of right this moment, when I take a look at my situation, even after I've paid for everything, I've legitimately grown my business. I bought everything that I needed. I legitimately grew my business and did all of that. I still have about $4,000 a month leftover cash, and that number is actually going up, compounding every single month. And when I take a look at my situation for what it is, I would call it that I have passed a point of inflection. I'm actually going to start doing drastically, and and here's the thing, is that even right now I am effectively doing, in terms of a financial sense, all right, I don't, in terms of, spirituality or whatever, who is to know? I don't know. I leave, whatever. I didn't sell my soul to the devil to do it. At the end of the day, I didn't. I run beef cattle. It just is what it is. I mean, trust me, at the end of the day, I'm the one with the money. I'm the one who makes a boatload of money. Trust me, I don't care. I don't. You don't like that? I mean, then you can sue me. Have fun. All right, me, at the end of the day, I'm the one with the money. I'm the one who makes the money. And when you take a look at how much money I generate, I effectively do drastically better than 99.99999% of the entire country. And I'm actually even going to do better. I'm actually even going to do better for myself. All right, and I don't know how else to put that. It just is. It's a statement of a fact. All right, it's not an opinion. All right, and I legitimately managed to do this running commercial cattle. All right, I don't know how else to, at the end of the day, I'm the one with the money. All right, I make a boatload of money. I don't even know how much money I make. I don't. The amount of money that I'm making is actually going up vertically. I do very well for myself. Trust me, I'm not going to be the one who cares. I don't care. Trust me, I don't. I make a boatload of money. I don't even know how much money I make. I don't. I don't. I don't know how much. I know that I make a lot. And I'm actually doing better for myself every single, effectively all the time. It just is what it is, okay? You know, at the end of the day, I'm the one with the money. I'm the one who makes the money. And when you take a look at my situation, I financially, I do drastically better than 99.99999% of the entire country. And at the end of the day, you know, I didn't sell my soul to the devil to do it. I legitimately run commercial cattle in my backyard. It just, you know, for whatever it may be, that is my perspective. That is my reality. All right, you know, I don't, you know, it just that's how that's it's just whatever, right? And so, you know, but that's it for me today, YouTube. Y'all have a good one.